What is going on, guys? We are back with game two. We had lots of action in game one. My name is Visions, and I am joined with
Danny Toolkire-Hafen, amateur broadcaster and analyst. We are watching the game two from Illinois and Maryville live. Game one was intense, beautiful fights, 5v5, lots of walls, and in the end, well, you'll just have to watch and see, but it was a great team fight, won by Illinois.
Yeah, it was an amazing game. I'm curious to see how this pick ban phase goes through. We already see the Kaisa ban coming through, but it was basically constant 5v5 team fights. I'm curious to see if we get two 5v5 team compositions again, or maybe we get a split push top, and maybe we look more to see how they end up using their split push. Very curious to see how it happens. However, I also want to see if they actually try and pinch Noob again, because he had no problem playing that Tarek, and it worked out extremely well.
It did indeed. Maryville's coaching staff had decided, it beat us, ban it. Talia and Kaisa both gone. The walls from Talia over and over again were crucial. West not once decided to kill the Talia wall with his unbreakable shield. That could have been a combat choice to be made, but they didn't. Now we'll just have to see if Maryville, with the help of their coaching staff, can come back and do it right this time.
Absolutely. And actually, as we talk about that, we have the Aurelia and the Fiora already on the board. So as we talk about maybe more of a split push oriented game, it looks like that might be what we're getting. Obviously, both can bring lots of utility to the actual team fight, but that might be something that that we're going to look at. Very snowball heavy top lane if the Aurelia goes to the top lane.
Now this is interesting. It looks like they are calling Illinois' bluff and just saying, we don't care. We will beat you with it wherever you go. Aurelia became a flex pick during MSI, mid or top, and we've seen it a bit in solo queue these last few weeks as fallout from that effect. So I thought they'd grab the Orin and wait to grab Fiora later, but no, they're just saying, we will outskill play you here. Can that be done? Will it be done? Topotamus showed he knew how to play Orin to perfection last game, and I don't think they're going to put him down.
Yeah, I don't see how they're going to actually end up doing this, because they have the Ornn and the Fiora. So do they end up putting Fiora mid and then putting the Ornn top, or I don't know if they want to use the Ornn as support, like maybe that's a pocket pick, but then you have the Morgana pick that comes through. So I'm curious to see what they actually decide to do, and they are going to have to draft a bit more AP, I believe, as well.
What I think they're going to try to do is ban out all the viable mid laners from Xeno, as we see the Karma being banned, making it so the Aurelia goes mid and they have a tank v tank top lane as normal. Maybe they have scouted Topotamus better than we have and know that he does prefer tanks, and that's why they just called the bluff right off the bat. And Aurelia Fiora mid lane happened before. Fiora was the counter to the mid lane Galio back in the day. Why can't she counter the mid lane Aurelia?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. We definitely could see it for sure. Now, also, as we look at the ban phase here, it looks like we are going to have both junglers still available. So we have the Trundle ban that comes through, and then we have a couple ADC bans on the side of Illinois as they pick up Varus. So maybe trying to pinch Prototype a bit more. However, I'm not sure if he's going to go with the Ashe again. He might decide to go with something a bit different. And as we see, the Tristana, something a lot more mobile this time.
When you see this in solo queue with your duo partner, he plays Ashe, you lose the game, and then the next game he just tells you, I'm going Triss. What he's saying is, you didn't peel for me, so I'm going to peel for myself. And
Exactly.
I've had that happen too many times. Well, maybe not too many. I'm a Leona main. I say, what? A peel? Who does that? I'm killing their AD carry. And so,
Exactly.
Will this happen? Will Illinois be able to get that fight again? Who are they bringing as jungler? I hope to see the Graves. Now I'd be shocked.
Moo Hover, very unlikely. Very, very unlikely. Evelyn, though, maybe a possibility, but looks like they're just going to bring a little bit utility with the Ivern. and maybe potentially try and do a little bit of cheese, maybe try and sneak a buff away from the enemy there from Walrus.
Illinois is probably feeling pretty good right now. They won that game. Maryville was so scared they came out and banned the 2 picks that beat them. They got Brom for noob. They are feeling confident, and I think right now with the Ivern, they're ready to play with the heads of Maryville and make other teams have to respect that that might come out later on in the tournament because they plan to win right here, right now. But, oh, what in the world is that? It's a Nunu.
Yeah, we have the Nunu versus the Ivern. These are potentially some of the cheesiest junglers you're going to get. And for a game 2, I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. Both junglers obviously have the ability to clear at least decently fast. Ivern has to wait a bit with his passive for as far as I think he has to wait about a minute before he can actually take it in the first few levels. But overall, Nunu is someone who can actually cheese Ivern, and Ivern's someone who can cheese Nunu for buffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how this jungle matchup ends up going. But a lot more different picks going into this one, and these will be a lot of champions that can actually take over the game with the Aurelium Fiora.
So it's been a few years since I've seen Nunu do an incredible job in the competitive scene. I don't watch all the games that there are for professional play, so maybe he's seen something I haven't, but somebody described it like this. I know the objective of Nunu. The objective of a Nunu jungle is to make the enemy jungler as useless as you are. It just doesn't happen all the time. So, maybe that's the strategy. I mean, Blood Boil is great on Tristana, but that's 45-minute game, and they have the Fiora for also the 45-minute game when conditioned, but do they really want to go that far? Do they not want to try to show their superiority earlier in different ways? I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see how this ends up playing out. I'm extremely excited for this mid lane matchup. I think there's going to be a lot of priority going on this. Ivern and Nunu, as much as they are champions, I mean, there's not a whole lot they're going to bring besides buffing up each other and throwing out a stun or throwing out a slow. So I'm curious to see how that goes, but there's a lot of solo pressure actually for as far as kill pressure in that mid lane. So curious to see how that ends up going.
I'm looking at some of the runes, and I see things that I do not agree with personally. First off is the press the attack on Xeno. I think it is too weak in lane and is hoping too much for the end game side lane fights. She did take teleport, which at least there's consistency in the choices made there. But if a Fiora gets ahead, you're just going to suffer too hard from that matchup. And then the other one is, once again, another press the attack, this time on Prototype. I think the lane sustain from Fleet Footwork is a must if you want to get to the late game. And you will have enough damage anyways to kill the enemy tanks with Tristana and Blood Boil from Nunu. You didn't need the press the attack to secure that.
Yeah, actually I agree with that quite a bit. I do think that the press the attack on Triss is kind of a bad choice. Fleet Footwork definitely goes a long way, and I definitely think that should have been the opt-in to Rune, but it didn't happen, sadly enough. So later in the game, I mean, like, it can play a big effect for as far as shredding the tanks, but Tristana shreds tanks as it is. So I definitely disagree with that pick. And now we have Fiora that is actually putting quite a bit of pressure onto Xeno, popping a few of his pots. And we're just going to see a bit of a jungle matchup here, just meeting each other, saying hello. And now we might have a scrap. Project One might be in a bit of a trouble here. He's going to get the flash out. And it looks like they might chase, though. It's going to be the slow coming through. And it looks like Fiora should be here to clean this up. Ignite's going to come through. First blood over to Fiora. And that is not what you want to see. Double buffs and first blood gold going over to the mid laner.
Zeno's in big trouble too. Is he going to go
Yeah,
down?
now Zeno's probably going to have to flash here, getting very greedy. He's actually not going to flash. He's going to hold it, and he's going to go down. And now that is a kill actually not going to go over to Fiora, so he's not going to get two. But now we have some pressure going on the top side. Ornn going extremely low, but doesn't look like he's going to commit any further. And this is scrap after scrap. Binding's going to land here. Tristana going with the jump here. Lots of damage going on to Noob. And this is just action right across the map. The Ignite also coming out from West there.
This is one of those games that if it was a scrim, you'd say remake automatically. Already 1,200 gold down, double buffs on the mid lane, summoners down in many key locations, and a death here for Topotamus most likely as well.
Yeah. Might be a death going down. Looks like it's so. Really well tanked by Walrus. Not even going to use the flash. And just like that, the game is completely snowballed. And he's going to miss part of that wave there, which means he's going to be behind in XP now. So this is just really well played by Walrus, actually. Pulling up the Nunu, pulling up the strats. Project One tunneling extremely hard there. I think he was just watching mid lane. And he's going to flash out. And then they have the double flash follow up. And he ends up going down. I wish he would have walked towards Aurelia there rather than walking down. But this is not looking good whatsoever for Illinois.
Well, I want to start talking about what they need to do to recover, what they need to do to draw this game out to a reasonable mid game where Varus gets his one-item power spike, Gunsun's Rage Blade. First of all, they're going to need to make sure Project One gets experience somewhere. He might only ever get his camps when he has smites up, so he can take them down instantly. With the amount of pressure CKG is able to bring out and the amount of counter jungling Rawless can bring. Also with the double range bot lane, that's just one more lane they're losing in the early game and not being able to get the pressure counter to protect Project One. Did I lose your visions?
I think so. I think it's cutting up me here. I've got a black screen. I just have to pull it up here on the client.
Oh.
Time.
It's okay. They're not fighting yet. You just have that epic battle with your equipment. We all know how that is. Some people have to go to Best Buy or other such stores to replace their equipment. I'm not sure
I think it's
where.
okay now.
Yep, you sound good to me.
Good now.
Okay, so we already have a VF on Tristana. We already have a 12 CS lead mid lane, not to mention an experience lead. It is just looking terrible. And in this meta, for 8.9, which we're on, Maokai cannot compete versus Ornn head-to-head in the fights. He brings the same sort of CC for the team fights, but in a straight-up 1v1, he will eventually get worked down.
Yeah, that's a great point. And now, actually, as we look at this gold lead, which is already 2K, we're actually going to see Walrus slowly head towards the top side. I think he might just do a top side clear and maybe path bottom for the Dragon, which he can solo. But there's now so much kill pressure, and Walrus basically just has to track the Ivern. Because all of his lanes have so much pressure, and they're just going to basically win them on their own, he just needs to make sure that they avoid the gank. But here we have a flash coming out right there, making sure that he doesn't actually go down. So Ornn ulti coming through, flash top, and this is just more pressure going on, and it's just so hard to deal with. And if you're Project One right now, you got to be crying for help, wondering what you're going to do because you are just in a tough spot.
And not only they're in a tough spot, RNG hates them too, because what do we see? An Ocean Drake. Nothing is as good as an early Ocean Drake, especially on the Ornn. He'll never have to return to base, and he will get first tower off that if Nunu decides to go and eat it. But he might decide taking champion kills first would be pleasurable.
Yeah, we're going to see a bit of an engage here going actually onto Ornn. He might try and flash out. He's going to get rooted up, though. He should go down, so this should be a kill going over. Really well played by them. Make sure that Ivern was in the right spot. Project One in the right spot to make sure that that kill goes over. Overextending. Really well played by them to get something back on the map.
That was very, very crucial of a fight to win for Illinois. I'm glad that they're recomposing themselves, that they're fighting, and Sakao needs to not press so hard when he doesn't know where the jungler is. Walrus hadn't effectively tracked him, and here comes that Ocean Drake. There's nothing that's going to stop them from taking that.
Yeah. This is going to go down, and this is going to be a huge impact for the laning phases. There's still a whole bunch of time left in laning phase, and now that you have the regen for mana, regen for health, it just makes it that much better, and it makes you that much more comfortable in laning phase. So this is really well played by them to take that, and we might see a potential gank. Nunu just coming down to clear some vision, looks like. And we might actually have an engage here on mid here. Xeno going really low. Fiora is also maybe going to go low. TP's going to come through. This should be Fiora actually able to turn this. Project One is going to flash out. And this is going to be a few summoners blown, I believe. And doesn't look like they're done yet. And looks like lots of priority going on this mid lane here. This is going to be Braum summed up. Noob's going to walk out. He should be okay. But this might be a little bit of pressure going on to that mid turret. As we talk, the bottom turret's taking damage too.
Sums were spent to the advantage of Illinois. Maryville used more, but what did they get in?
Yeah, and we're gonna actually have we're gonna have the ultimate come through. It's gonna be Triss going extremely low. Looks like she's gonna have a nice side step there to make sure that she gets out. She had both summoners just in case. But if you want to continue your point there, go ahead, Zulgar.
The summoners they spent were to the sacrifice of about 12 CS bot lane and some damage, making Prototype once again get the early lead over Danny. And I'm also really sad Noob did not commit his flash when Danny hit that ultimate. You can stop the jump from Tristana with the knockup from Braum's ultimate if you time it right, making it so she doesn't it's far away. Then you'll have your Braum passive get the stun. They used...
Yeah, we're going to see Xeno flash out here. A little bit of damage coming through. TP now is coming through. Maybe looking for the turn. Going to get canceled, though. And just a summoner blown for Xeno.
To keep him safe, and that's good, because if he had died, that would have been first tower. Nunu, Blood Boil on a Fiora. That's so much damage so quickly. And they couldn't survive losing mid-tower, in my opinion, or letting it go down to like 1/10 health, if they want to keep Ivern being able to get his camps in the jungle. So
yeah, absolutely.
Topotamus taking one for the team, but now his team has to play safe while he gets his teleport up. There will be about... oh no, Topotamus, because he cancelled, has about the same timer as Orin, so they should be good to make those 5v5s happen once again this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually see that Xeno is not in the worst of spots. Because of how strong Aurelia is, he's actually trading pretty well with Fiora. Fiora, even though she has the lead and actually has the item advantage, Xeno was actually still trading extremely well, and that's just because of that champion. And now he's at a point where he actually can start building into his Triforce. He can really start to look for that kill potential onto Fiora. And as we actually talk about that, we actually have a play in the top lane. Wallace is just going to walk out. But there's still so much kill pressure going on, and Walrus still has complete control of this game for as far as priority.
So I talked about how Xeno chose to run press the attack, and how it must be for the late game side lane fights, and how Teleport matched that thought process. First item, Xeno, is Tiamat. The thought process and the decision is being consistent all the way through. I do appreciate that. But will it be enough?
Just to cut you off there, we actually have an ultimate coming through. That's going to land on a top Topotamus. He's going to go down most likely. Flash going to come out. Fiora is going to be on him like glue. He's not going anywhere. Another kill going over to Fiora, and this is just her snowballing even harder.
And Xeno can't get there. It's too late. All he can do is go back to mid, get a bit of farm. But we have some good news. Banner is finished for Topotamus, but Banner is also finished for Orin, and both of them have their minion dematerialer stacks. They did not use them up this game. So we will see, well, Noodle fights top lane unless people keep roaming like they have.
Yeah, lots of noodle fights, lots of auto attacks going down if they don't use the dematerializer. But really good to hold on to it this time, simply for the fact that that's going to be a big factor. and you know that they're going to be using them the entire game. So really glad that they both held onto them so that they can clear them extremely fast. And we are also going to have the Mountain Drake spawning in about a minute. We also do have the Rift live. So we might see some priority going on to those, might see some pressure going on for as far as shoving the wave out and maybe looking for an objective.
This game, West and Prototype seem to be playing smart, seem to be making roams when they get the push pressure, and I just want to see a little bit more tower damage, but it doesn't have to come yet. They have the team comp for the 45-minute game fights. So just keep playing safe, keep punishing Illinois when they go too far forward.
And really nice trade actually coming through right there onto Zeno. Zeno now in a situation where he is actually behind in items, and they actually have the Hydra completed on the Fiora now. So this is going to be a big deal, especially for this drag fight, which looks like it should be secured. I don't see why they would end up losing this. Maryville is in a situation where they have the mid pressure. Orin also has his teleport. I believe he should be more effective than Maokai right now just because of the damage. I don't think that Illinois is able to match it, and looks like it should just be a free objective going over. And West is constantly in this lane on Zeno, and this just gotta be pretty annoying.
I would be annoyed. I would be saying, what are you doing bot lane? Right now, they are not doing much. They're getting pushed in. They're 30 CS down, and they just did finish Rageblade. They do have a chance to have the superior item spike here, but will they get enough people down in this team fight in time? I don't think so, to save the turret.
Yeah, most likely not. And this is going extremely low right now, but Brahm's actually moving up pretty aggressively, just going to walk out. Noob just putting some damage down there. But this turret should be going down. Both TPs are available, so I don't know if they're going to try to defend this. They do have 4 members down here. It looks like we do have a bit of engage, but Ultimate's going to be used onto Zeno to get him out of there. Really well played by Prototype to make sure that Aurelia does not get in their faces and end up taking a few down.
It's very easy to play it when West puts the black shield on you and you can't be CC'd. Well done there by the support from Maryville, doing better than last time, but Zeno was able to come get his wave with his teleport. But does that mean they'll just push bot lane again? I think so, and I can't see this tower surviving.
Yeah, and we're actually going to see an engage here going on to West. West is going to go extremely low. He's going to get taken down. Maybe have their eyes on Wallace now. Wallace trying to walk himself out. Looks like it should just be the one kill. They knew that they were going to try and prioritize the bottom turret. They were there. They were ready for it, and they made sure to actually get the jump onto West, take him down, and it is going to delay their bottom push now.
This is very well done by Illinois. Those first 5 minutes, people would have been typing GG, forfeit, open mid, remake the scrim, but they have shown tenacity, they have shown determination, and they want to finish this series right here and now.
Yeah, it's really good to see them not just actually just sit back and wait. They're being proactive. You can see Project One actually making that. I think that play in the top lane was what really started it and gave them a bit of confidence, momentum back to start making plays and making sure that they're not out of the game, right? That's the main thing. So keeping the right mindset, making sure they're not out of it, and maybe actually they're not going to spot him out though. Thank God. That would have really been unfortunate for Noob if he ended up going down there, but they did not have any vision. This should be the first turret going down. Prototype might be able to secure the solo gold here. I don't think there's anyone there to go to defend that, and that should be first turret going over to Maryville.
And Illinois is saying it's gone already. Let's do the lane swap. Hopefully we might be able to get something. They're already pinging the Rift Herald. They are in the lead for the jungle level, but Nunu with his consume makes it so hard to win those neutral battle fights. So we'll see if there ends up being a 5v5. There is time to get here, but it doesn't look like they have spotted it out yet.
Yeah, and we're actually going to see Maryville slowly make their way over here to see if they might be able to try and stop it. I don't think they're going to commit. TP is going to come through right there by top of Potamus, but this is also going to be matched. Actually, I think, yeah, so this is going to be the ultimate also coming maybe through from Orin. Orin's not going to pop it just yet. They're going to walk out. Rift is going to be secured. And now we're in a situation where the first turret went down, went over to Maryville last game and this game. And they also had the gold lead. So what do they need to do to make sure that they don't let Illinois back into this game and they try and snowball and take over it?
Well, what they need to do is to make sure to continue to pressure Korean Danny and Noob, continue to whittle down turrets wherever they are. The one difficult thing they have is the teleport from Xeno, but he's been forced to use it to return to lane multiple times.
We're going to see the Braum ulti actually come out there, and that's going to be West going down. This is going to be the new ulti coming through as well. Rift now also on the map, so that means that that's going to be a turret going down, potentially looking for 2 now. So really nice engage, and this is the exact same thing that basically happened last time. Once we got to the 5v5 stage, even though it wasn't a 5v5, we see that Illinois groups up, they get together, they use the Rift in this instance, and they get 2 turrets, a kill, and walk out. And now you look at the gold lead, and it's basically them taking control.
So the one thing about Black Shield is you can't Black Shield multiple people at the same time. Both Topotamus and Project One and New, all 3 of them committed their flashes. There is so much CC from those 3 champions, and with Daisy there, it wasn't a 5v5, it was a 6v5, and they took that fight and did it with style.
Absolutely, really well played by them. And this is just like, this is almost looking like the same thing that happened the last game. It's really coming down to Illinois having really good team play, working really well together, finding advantages on the map, and taking over. And we're actually going to see, I think it was Walrus that ended up taking that away. I'm not sure who ended up getting that red buff, but this is basically the same story as last game. And I'm curious to see if Maryville can actually win some of these 5v5s. And I think it's going to be a while before Prototype actually comes online and gets that 3-item spike where he can actually start putting out the damage to match Danny.
So one thing to take note of is he went Phantom Dancer first. Speaking of Prototype's Tristana, he has accepted that Xeno is going to be trying to assassinate him, and if he can survive that assassination attempt with the 12% damage reduction brought by that item, they have a chance to win the fight and to continue on with their overall team strategy. But I don't know if Xeno's going to be in lane with them. With him having teleport, with them recovering the way they have, they might try to pull a 1-3-1 effectively. They have the disengage from Braum, they have the disengage from Varus Ultimate, and they might be able to look for that fight. They have the summoners and the skill to do so.
Absolutely, they do. And we're actually just going to see Project One pop open Daisy there. I think that's just his zone Fiora off from the turret there. So this is going to be a turret going over to Illinois, another one. And this is just them slowly taking a lead and getting turret by turret. And you can see them pinging towards that top side, going for that last one.
So last game we had a Karma who went Banner of Command, Luden's Echo, Death Cap. Yet they were depending on the Ashe 80 carry to get all the damage out. This game we have a Rageblade Varus building up for that team shredding tank, and Project One has already completed 2 critical items for the team fights, for buffing up Danny, and I am happy they are playing this style. I'm happy that they have chosen a carry and will play in-game to follow that carry, not try to make their own plays happen alone, do crazy things.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're in a spot where the Baron is live. We're going to see lots of vision cleared, vision being taken back and forth. Iron can also put up the bushes so that they don't know if they're actually taking the Baron unless they have a pink ward or ward, some kind of vision in there. So that's actually a really good Baron taking tool, and you're definitely going to see them use that if they attempt to start it. But going forward, this is just going to be a lot of face checking, and this game's a little bit slower because Maryville knows that they're actually on the line here. If they lose, they know that they're in a spot where I don't know if there's a losers bracket in this or not, or if it's just single elimination. But it's got to be a lot of pressure.
It's single elimination as far as I know, and
Right.
it would be sad to be the champions last year and get taken out in the quarterfinals.
By the 8th seed. And as we talk about that, we have a bit of an engage going back onto West. West going down, maybe looking for more. Aurelia is going to be coming through, seeing if she can pick up anything more. That's going to be Tristana going down. That's going to be a 2-4-0 right there. And that's both flashes available. And this is West getting caught out multiple times. We've seen him actually die, basically back to back. He's getting caught out by these Varus ultis. He has the spell shield to block it, but he's not utilizing it. And now this is going to be them breaking the base, looking for an inhibitor, and they're going to have their eyes on potentially another tower in the top wave, or even turning their attention to start prioritizing the Baron and setting up for it.
So I wouldn't call this a fight. I would call this a pick. And the sad thing to me is the last big fight we had about 5 minutes ago, Maokai, Ivern, and Braum all committed their flashes to make that fight work. In that time frame since then, they didn't have to fight. They weren't pressured by Maryville in any way, and now they have their flashes up again. And this time, West and Protobelt don't have their sums. I don't like to call games over before they're over, but to me, this game is over. Illinois has what they want. They are going to pressure. They have the Tree Brothers to put bushes down and then put saplings in those bushes. They should be able to very easily get the priority around Baron with their double TP and with these team fighting items brought from the Ivern and the Braum in the Knight's Vow, Redemption, and Ardent Censor.
Yeah, and now that we're starting to see some of these item spikes, we can definitely see how this is maybe going to be potentially a Baron. Xeno looks like he's taking over the side lane now, too. He has the TP available, and this is just going to be a situation where they're going to have their eyes on the Baron. They're going to keep looking for these picks, and it's just going to get to the point where I think that Illinois is just team fighting better. They're finding picks better overall on the map. So ultimately, this is just looking like Illinois should be able to pull this one through. However, a lot can still happen. Prototype can still pop off. And as we say that, this is going to be an engage going on to Danny. Danny might be able to get out with just barely any health. But as we talk about that, Aurelia is going to be on the back line here looking for more. Maybe this is going to be a West going down. This is going to be him stunned up. But now we also have Ornn here going to do as much damage as he possibly can. Danny's kind of kite out. He's going to stay alive. And that's going to be Ornn going down next. And that's going to be just a 1-4-0. Really well played. Danny just staying alive barely by the skin of his teeth.
That was a beautiful, beautiful fight. And so lucky for Danny to survive there. And good from Project 1 to get that shield on in case some random damage tried to finish him off. All summoners are spent except from the Fiora. And I wish we could see the hit points, but I am sure that was single-digit number hit points.
It must have been. That was just extremely low. And I think Maokai maybe tried to flash or actually tried to get on him here. I'm sorry, Ornn did. And it just ended up just surviving barely. Just so close. And ultimately just a 1-for-0. A lot of summoners, however, used in that fight there. And that's going to be really interesting going forward here. We keep talking about this Baron, but looks like this is going to be an Infernal Drag coming up in 15, potentially going over to Illinois. They have the control. I don't see why they wouldn't. And I'd be very surprised if Maryville tries to actually come over and contest it.
So I wanted to mention this about 3 minutes ago, but interrupted by beautiful fights and surviving of the Danny. He's going AP Varus. AP on hit Varus, which I thought was strange at first until I realized he did it because of West and because of the Black Shield. Her shield is not surviving at all, and it is making it so easy to get these picks and to get the team fights they want.
Yeah, and we're going to see a fight break out here. We're going to see Xeno in the backline trying to do as much as he can. That's going to go really low, but that's going to be ultimately secured by Nunu. This is going to be an ultimate coming through. Nunu does not actually have his flash. He will be going down, and that's going to be a Baron secured, but that's going to be 2 deaths going over. But they did take the major objective off the map, which means that they should be able to stall this game out a little bit longer.
I hope Xeno quickly teleports bot lane to get that 20-30 CS. But they're going to get a lot top here, and even though Baron was secured by Maryville, it's only on 2. They still keep having to fight 6v5s because Daisy is there. Maybe you could say it's 6.5v5 because the saplings keep helping too in those brushes. I love that combo. It is just so gratifying to me.
Yeah, and absolutely. And actually, to go back and touch on the Varus build here, that's actually the Cutie Pie special. He loves going AP Varus. This is definitely his go-to, and it actually started to pick up here. But just before that, we're actually going to see Fiora in a bit of a tough spot here. Noob trying to land the stuns. Ultimate going to come through, going to land. He should walk out. He should just be fine. But that is the Cutie Pie special build right there. And because they actually don't have too much AP, it actually works out extremely well. You get your stacks off of your W when you land. Once you get 3 of them, you do just an enormous amount of AP damage. And we're going to see a replay of this fight here. Just Xeno putting out a lot of damage, trying to actually take it. Fortunately, Project 1 wasn't in a position to actually steal it. But ultimately, they got 3 kills, and then they get 2 turrets in the end. It's still very good trade. It just comes down to Maryville trying to stall out the game.
So some of the items they're getting for that Tristana is the Knight's Vow from Nunu. West has said, I am tired of dying, and has built a very selfish Zonia's, but maybe in this fight it's what's needed. But we also see the Shirelias from Project 1. They will be able to say go when they want, and with all the CC they're bringing, West cannot keep everybody safe. I do want to congratulate CKG, though. Still has not died, has incredible CS numbers already, is doing his best to get to the late game where Fiora can 1v3 in the side lane and to create the pressure needed to stall out for Tristana to get to her late game as well.
Yeah, and as we talk about that, she does actually have his 3 items: Infinity Edge, Shiv, and Phantom Dancer, all coming through there. And now we actually see the pressure coming down on the bot side here, just keeping the Baron super minions, just trying to get as much damage on the turret. I'm going to get spotted out there, and he's just going to walk out. But this is a situation where you have to worry about the Fiora. If you engage too hard on a fight, or if you tunnel, then that's where Fiora's just going to come down to your side lane, take the turret, break the base, and it just becomes so much more difficult to deal with. But as we talk about that, we're going to see Xeno actually going for the all-in. He's going to have the Sterex Gauge, going to keep him alive a little bit longer, but that's going to be lots of damage coming through right there, and that's going to go over to Project 1, and that's her going down for the first time.
Very well done, Project 1 being there, committing the redemption, Xeno's Sterex Gauge shield keeping him alive. And now, I don't think they can protect the base. I don't think they can protect their towers. I feel that they're going to have to sacrifice this Infernal when it comes up in about a minute and a half, unless they can get a pick. But who are they going to get a pick with? And how? Because there is so much shielding and healing and support coming from the Ivern, from the Braum, and even the Maokai at this point is saying, screw engage, I'm just going to defend. We're kicking your butt.
Yeah, absolutely. So much shielding and healing. And we also talk about how Illinois is never alone. Like they always seem to be together. Even when they're attacking the Fiora on the bot lane, they're sending Project 1 down there. When they're finding these picks, they're together. When they're team fighting, they're always together, and they're always in formation. And I think that's something that has just been something we have to touch on. They're always together. They're just team fighting extremely well, and I think that's what has them ahead in this game. And I think that's what's going to help them close out this game. Being said, there's still a lot that can happen, and Tristana is honestly going to be the one to look at. You have to look at Prototype and think, you're the one that's going to have to carry this game for us. Fiora can put out a lot of damage, but I think it has to be down to Project 1 if they actually end up winning a 5v5.
Has the self-build, has the Black Shield from Morgana. There is possibilities there. The Blood Boil will create so much attack speed. But I don't think it's enough. I think that here on the day, Maryville has not performed as well as Illinois, and they are ready to take it and to make their stake their claim on this tournament and why they should be champions this year for the League of Legends Collegiate Championship.
Yeah, and you also got to think this is a team that is basically predicted to either 2-1 or at least 2-0 or at least 2-1 them. But as we talk about that, we might have a bit of an engage here. Braum just going to put down some damage. He's going to walk out. All is fine. But we're going to see an actual engage on the mid lane and Zeno going out. But we're going to have two fights going at once. And that's going to be Zeno cleaning up him. But this is going to be Nunu now putting in as much damage as possible. That's going to be two going down. That's going to be on to Triss. This is going to be Prototype trying to kite out. Don't think she can do anything. The Zeno is just too strong. Another kill going over to Zeno. And this might be potentially be the game. This could be it.
This is the game. It's a 1v6. There isn't time. There isn't the ability. There isn't the damage. Illinois is going to knock out Maryville, and we will see them not tomorrow, but the next day for their chances to continue to win the semifinals and go to the finals. I am excited to see them. I'm excited to see Noob and the consistent thought process and choices made by their team. Beautiful victory, very well played, and that's, my friends, is why you don't give up after 4 minutes.
Yeah, you could see that game just looked so bad for them. I mean, you could just see kills right across every lane there. That was 2 kills going over for the 2v2 early with the jungle mid synergy coming out on top, and that was a top lane then going down. And that's just, you got to look at that and think, like, you have the lead, you got first turret, it went over to your ADC again, but you weren't able to snowball the game, and you weren't able to contribute it over to anything more. And I think Illinois did an excellent job of playing as a team, as a unit, always making sure they're working together, warding together, and I think that's what honestly came out, and that's why they got to win. Really well played by them, and I can't wait to see them later in this tournament.
So, we don't get to choose the MVP. If you watch the LCS broadcast, not our coverage of it, you will see who the MVP is. For me, at this point, I would give it to Topotamus. He made great plays with both his Ornn and his Maokai. He was persistent, he was resilient, and I think in the end, it was his sturdy roots that they relied on to find the fights later on in the game.
I think he did an excellent job, absolutely, on both engagers. I would honestly, personally, I think I'd give it to Zeno. I think Zeno played exceptionally well. I think that Talia single-handedly won them game 1 with very well wall placements, securing objectives, having favorable fights always in their way or in their favor. I think it was really well played by him. He showed the Aurelia. He ended up solo killing the Fiora in the mid lane. It was really well played by him. I think he played exceptionally well. But overall, great teamwork coming out. It was a hot 2-0. And that is going to be secured by Illinois. And like I said, can't wait to see these guys in the tournament. They are 8th seed, and they are showing that they can bring the heat and that they are not to be underestimated.
So, just so you know, very soon, the best of 3 between University of Texas Dallas and Columbia will be starting. We will be broadcasting that as well. Hope to see you there. Thanks for the watch, the views, and if you like us, subscribe. Take care, and bye.